Hey, it's day 21 of our 40 Days of Purpose, and this is your weekly recap. I'm going to break down all 7 days in a short video to help all of us remember what we learned this week. To start things off, previous week we learned our first purpose is to love God, and that means we're to worship Him. One word, worship. This past week, we learned our second purpose is to love one another, and that one word is fellowship, learning to love one another. So let's start with day 15, and let's work our way through this week in this quick recap. Ready? You ready? All right, let's do this. Day 15. Day 15 says you are formed for God's family. God's family is eternal. It's meant to last forever, and it will last forever. We talked about the entry point of the family, belonging to the family, is baptism. And so we really talked about baptism on day 15. Day 16, it talks about what matters most. What matters most is that life is about love. It doesn't matter if you're the best of the best at whatever you do. If you don't have love, you have nothing. Love lasts forever. Day 17 talked about a place to belong. This was talking about church. Yes, we believe in Jesus, and so we belong to the church as a whole, but God says, I want you to belong to a group of people known as the church, a local church, and we need each other, and in this local church, we are called to love imperfect people, which leads us to day 18, where we experience life together. So in this family of belonging, we experience life together. Life is meant to be shared. We're to be authentic. We're to have mutual giving and receiving. We're to be sympathetic with one another. We're to have mercy with one another. And we're to remember that I need you, you need me. Let's all be a family. I was going to do Barney, but I can't remember it. You're my happy family with a great big... Because you, won't you say you love me too? All right, there we go. So you have to deal with people like me in your family. Day 19, which talks about that, cultivating community. It takes intentional effort when imperfect people get together to really have a community together. It requires commitment, honesty, humility, courtesy, confidentiality, and frequency of getting together on a regular basis. It takes commitment to cultivate community. It doesn't just happen. Day 20, restoring broken fellowship, because, hey, look, we're all imperfect. We're going to have relationships that are strained and stressed, and this day told us that every relationship is worth restoring, and so it puts the emphasis on us to do our part to do that. In prayer, take the initiative to sympathize with other people's feelings, to confess you're part of the problem, to focus on the problem and not the person, and look for ways to cooperate to bring resolution. That was day 20. Now, let's look at day 21, which is today. I'll spend a little bit more time on that. Today talked about protecting your church. It talks about doing your part, your job to protect the unity in the church. Unity doesn't mean you agree on everything, but it means you focus on the things that do bring unity to the church. Focus on the things that are common. Don't focus on the differences. It talks about being realistic and not idealistic. So instead of looking for the perfect church, stop, it doesn't exist. If a perfect church existed, you and I couldn't join. Hey, I know I'm not perfect. You're not perfect either. We all need grace. And so we need to be realistic in our expectations. Another step it talked about was making sure that we are encouraging one another instead of criticizing one another. Look, there's just no room in the church for criticizing. Yes, we debate at times and we talk about different viewpoints, but I'm talking about a critical spirit of criticizing and putting people down and dividing and having that spirit. It kills the unity in a church. It just can't function. And so the bride of Christ, the church, is supposed to be a place that we encourage one another. It talks about refusing to listen to gossip, which means refusing to be part of any part of gossiping, because if you're saying it, you're listening to what you're saying too. And so gossip divides the people of the church. It talks about healthy ways to resolve conflict, because it is going to happen. And it gives us step by step, so do that in the reading. You can check it out. And finally, it said support your pastors and leaders in the church. You know what? I think it's really good for all of us to remember that the pastors and leaders in the church are human. They're imperfect, just like all the rest of us, right? So we need to be praying for one another and encouraging one another, whether we are the pastor in the church or not. Cool. I think that's it. So let me leave you with this word before we go. Stay diligent. Don't give up. Keep drawing near to God. Keep pursuing His promises. Keep allowing your heart to be formed and shaped by the Word of God, and you're going to continue to see God's purpose for your life become a reality, and you're going to see your relationship with God is going to thrive, and your relationship with the church and with one another is also going to flourish. So I love each one of you. Thank you for taking time to watch this video, and I am trusting and believing that as we step into our third purpose, that we're going to see God do some amazing things in our hearts. I'll see you guys next time.